How's it going, guys? I'm here with the Smackdown review, and if anyone's just wondering, I'm getting over a sore throat. I've got a little bit of a cold as well, so if I sound different in this video, which I'm sure I do, that's the reason why. Smackdown. At least you could say with Raw, there's a little bit of a sense that there's WrestleMania. I mean, they're talking about Drew wrestling Brock. At least we have that. There's not really a whole lot else. Promotion mostly for Super Showdown. But SmackDown, there's nothing. There's not even a challenger set for The Fiend. And I know what you're gonna say. Goldberg is, challenging, so it's gonna be the outcome of that, but kind of already know the outcome of that. That's besides the point. I guess we'll talk about it when we get to it, when that segment comes on the show. But this SmackDown was like, what really happened on this show that mattered? Was there anything eventful at all? Was there anything that occurred that you needed to see this show? Did anything progress from last week? The answer to that is emphatically and unsurprisingly no. If you're surprised by that at this stage in the game, then you simply just haven't been watching for, an extremely long time, and consider yourself to be one of the privileged ones for that. Or you just might be the majority of the population, because no one's watching this. So anyway, let's take a look at this show. We start off with the New Day. They're putting the tag team division on notice for like the 90th time. We have to reestablish, that they're there because they're out so many times due to numerous, DUIs and all sorts of things, injuries. I feel like these guys have been off TV, and I like the Usos. I've talked about how much I like them. So that's nothing really against them as talents, because I think they're really talented. I think that they're believable. They've got good promo skills. You've heard this 1,000 times before. So New Day comes out. They start complimenting them, but they say they've got one more title reign than the Usos do, which makes them better. No, actually what it does is it makes it show just how pathetic the tag division is, that they've had to give these guys so many multiple reigns, because these are the only established tag teams. You're looking at them. Who else is an established tag team here? They just put Miz and Morrison back together. I mean, I guess you could say it's sort of an established team. It's more of a nostalgia act of sorts. It's a returning older team. But these are the only guys that have really been around and been a team in WWE for more than like a few years. I mean, they've been together for a pretty long time, which means that this is tiresome. Seeing them come out, cutting promos on one another. It really shows you how throughout the years nothing has really changed. These guys are still cutting promos on each other. They're still obviously going to have a match. Like, this is probably going to be the match at WrestleMania. You're looking at it right here. Because since it's not going to happen at Showdown, that means it's going to happen at Mania. And we're going to get New Day versus the Usos, take number 86. Look, these guys, they mesh well together. I'm not saying that. I've seen some good matches from these guys, but I'm just saying, from a storyline perspective and from just a feud perspective, I'm pretty sure, even the people that, love these guys and rate their matches 5 stars and all that, they got to be sick and tired of seeing these same two teams go at it. We get it. This is all that you have. Why not try to shape some other tag teams? The thing is, the truth of the matter is, they have not had a good tag division for, as long as I can remember. I mean, really, like, the last good time they had a tag division was 2002, maybe SmackDown back in 2003. You think back, like, there really hasn't been a lot of great times for tag teams. They've had a lot of struggles throughout the years having competent teams stay together, and this is mostly creative. I don't really think it's the talent's fault, but because a team like the Usos should be more respected. But them having, 16,000 tag title reigns is probably, not the best look. I know it's like, oh, look how many titles they've won. But what anyone with half a brain could realize is that, it shows how many times they've lost the title as well. It's the same thing when they try to tout Charlotte Flair as, a 10-time winner of the women's title, whatever it is. I mean, after a while, it starts to look ridiculous when they've only been in the company for, a few years, for 5 years. And the amount of title reigns doubles or triples their tenure in the company. Now, I know the Usos have been there for literally 10 years, just about, almost exactly. But they didn't start winning those belts until 2015, 2016. I don't even remember the first time they won those belts. Anyway, this brings out Miz and Morrison, Ziggler and Rude, and wouldn't you know it, we have an 8-man tag match. You want to talk about something where there's way too much of it? On Raw, it's a 6-man tag. Then it's an 8-man tag. And then the previous week, it was an 8-man tag. It was a 6-man. Who? Raise your hand in the comments if you think that they're just, running on autopilot with the 6-mans and the 8-mans. And this is nothing new. But there's definitely been an uptick in 6-mans and 8-mans where they're just laser let's just throw everyone together. Let's throw all the teams together because we can't tell a story, so just throw it all at the wall and see what happens. And that's what we're getting here. There's 6-mans and 8-mans and and all they do is take one team out, put another team in. If it's on Raw, you had the Seth Rollins, team. 1 week, last week, he's in the match. Then the next week, he's not in the match. So they take him out, put another person in. It was Samoa Joe was there the previous week. He's injured, so take him out. And there you go. It's a new match. Oh, you did the same thing last week. Nah, because we had an 8-man last week. This time we made it a 6-man, so it's different. Whoa, you could have fooled me. Just taking someone it's the same thing. And I know that they're saying oh well, if we make things different, this is good booking because we're just making subtle changes. But that's the thing. I guess certain people could make that argument that they're interacting, but I've said this time and time again. Yeah, but how about some quality? How about telling a story here or something? Here the story is, these guys are involved here, but the story is more on the Usos and the New Day. So then why are they even bothering to wrestle Miz and Morrison if that's not really the real story? Anyway, the babyface team wins. Usos and New Day go over. Daniel Bryan is walking backstage. Some guy stops him. It's Drew Gulak. I watched this segment after I saw the eventual match that it led to. I didn't even recognize Drew Gulak. This guy's been off TV for 3 months. Remember when Braun Strowman destroyed him? Remember it was in the Tyson Fury build up. Remember that disaster? They're showing this guy backstage people are going to remember him. Are you going to remember Drew Gulak? First of all, Gulak hasn't really been anything since Enzo got fired. Enzo was the guy pushing for Gulak to get noticed, and it was working. People noticed it. Enzo, got fired, and suddenly Gulak's stock went way down, and that's obviously a direct correlation to that. Then, he talks about Bryan having holes in his game. He has a PowerPoint presentation he's going to show him. Then Slater comes at, he's standing off to the side. He hears his name, and he challenges Bryan to a match. Like, do you get the feeling here like they don't know what to do with Bryan? Was he not just wrestling The Fiend for the world title at the Royal Rumble? Did that not happen? I mean, like, are you serious? You just had a guy who was in a world title match, one of the main events at the Royal Rumble, and now you're putting him up against Heath Slater, like a ham and egger on the roster, a guy that literally appeared out of nowhere a few weeks ago. And here we are again. And plus, like, that's something that happened the previous week. Like, he tagged with Roman Reigns, did he not? Just last week. And never mind the fact that Roman Reigns is not even on the show this week. So now we've got absolutely nothing for Bryan to do. So it's going to be total filler. Like, if they're not going to take the time to, like, put some thought into this show, if they're not going to take the time to do something valuable with one of their more valuable stars, then why should anyone watch this show? Why did they deserve to have any viewers at all if they're not going to even think to do anything? Like seriously, why watch this match? Why would anyone want to see Daniel Bryan go one-on-one with Heath Slater? Now, I've talked about how Heath Slater has, shown entertainment value. He's shown worth in the past. But they've done nothing with him. So in turn, he has no worth. So why would anyone stay tuned for this match? Is anyone, watching this segment saying, oh, wow, I can't wait to see Bryan go one-on-one with Heath Slater? Like, that's the point where people start flipping the channel to go see what else is on, because they're like, first of all, first person you see is Gulak. Now, if you see Gulak, what are you going to say to yourselves? Who is this guy? I watched, maybe I watched last week. You didn't see Gulak, so who is he? If I know who Drew Gulak is and I didn't even recognize him at first, what does that say about the rest of the audience? Unless you're the most desperate smart and you're watching 205 Live on the network every single week, which I don't even think Gulak is even on there anymore, is he? I still get the notifications on YouTube for 205 Live. I don't see Gulak anywhere in there. At least maybe I'm missing something, but he's not on there every week. I know that much. So how can you expect everyone, besides him saying the name Drew Gulak or just Drew or whatever he called him or addressed him by, doesn't matter. It's you can't just throw these random people on the show and expect your audience to know who they are. I mean, you would think that this is AEW. I'm not gonna get into that right now. You already know how. If I start talking about AEW, this video is gonna be 2 hours. So, Tucker is backstage. He's confronting Mandy. This is probably the most anticlimactic way that they could... here's the thing. First of all, last week was anticlimactic. Valentine's Day, they've actually built something up. They've actually had a storyline that had some type of intrigue to it. Okay, they half-assed it. That's what they always do. They could have done more. Otis is super entertaining. This is a guy that's putting all the effort he is, he's got it inside of him into these segments, and he's only given so much time and bad material to work with. But that's besides the point. You could always see when someone's trying their hardest to get something over. And Otis he has the facial expressions. He's got all the things that are unique to Otis down. So, last week he walks into the restaurant. He sees, Dolph Ziggler sitting down with Mandy. Mandy is not even saying anything to Tucker. She's just sitting there like stunned. You can make the argument, okay, that Tucker didn't let her talk, but like, this is a script. Find some way where she could talk to Tucker in it. I mean, this is a scripted promo. What? She's got nothing to say to Tucker? She just goes like, oh, you texted him that you were going to be late. She goes, what text? Tucker, like, doesn't even acknowledge that. Like, all of a sudden, he became temporarily deaf. I just can't stand these promos because it's like, even when they try to tell a story, there's so many inconsistencies. Like, these are like aliens. These are not people. Because human beings would hear something and they would react. Or then again, maybe it is like human beings because most people ignore everything that you say and they ignore and interrupt each other. So perhaps maybe it is accurate. No, it's not. I'm just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate there. There's no way that they're smart enough to think on that plateau. This creative team. Anyway, after like Tucker walks away, she starts talking about how Ziggler had sat down and that she had a good time, and then the expert on relationships, Sonya Deville, says that Ziggler is more her type anyway. She said certain things to Tucker, like she said like, oh, well, Otis never showed up and everything. Like, this guy is standing in the middle of a restaurant with a tuxedo with that's completely sleeveless. Otis is not a small guy, and she didn't notice him standing there. Like, could anyone be that oblivious? Like, doesn't anyone have like peripheral vision? Doesn't anyone like, I'm just saying, this is so unbelievable that like they're basically asking us to completely remove our brain, stomp on it, and then put it back in our heads. And I've made that metaphorical joke 1,000 times, but it still holds true because it really is just the dumbest storytelling ever. Where it's not just like, oh, this is not realistic. I'm not saying that. Like, it's more like, tell us more of the story. Because it's so stupid that you would just walk away from that. Oh, this is how it is. You know what that is, basically? What I think it is? It's like when they do these things, they get in and they get out really quickly. Because it's like they're basically saying, oh, you guys are lucky you got that much because we got nothing. It's basically what it is. They don't know what they're doing. They're really bad writers. I don't know if Vince is telling them to like rush through this. Whatever the case may be, whoever's fault it is, I'm tired of doing the guessing game. Oh, Vince is responsible. We don't know, okay? We just know that whoever is responsible is giving us a bad product. I'm not going to be like JD and say, oh, it's all Vince McMahon's fault and all this stupid stuff that he takes a wild guess about, It's not going to be the last time I'm mentioning that guy, by the way, because I need to talk about this later on. It's a little something we'll talk about in a bit. But, it's whoever's fault it is. They rush through the segment. Nothing gets accomplished. No one gets over. No characters are built. We're just left with, like, awkwardness and big gaping holes. Like, we want to see more of Otis. Otis is over. But we're not going to give it to you. And I don't know if it's that lame thing like, oh, we want the people wanting more. I don't know if that's what the thing is there, that's supposed to be the hook, I suppose. They also did that with Sting and others. They like to use people sparingly, do things a little at a time. And they're also going to use that as an excuse too. We want to like build this storyline. We all know that this is not going to lead to anything. This is how it always goes. All it is buying time and BSing because they got nothing. They don't even have a plan when they do a storyline. If deep down They know that they don't have an end goal in mind for this storyline. This is just like, whoa, whatever happens, happens, right? Dolph Ziggler, I guarantee you, they added him to this storyline the week of the show. They probably had no idea where this is going to go. And you might be saying, but Brad, your favorite writer of all time for wrestling, Vince Russo, said that he does the same thing. That he fly by the seat of his pants and that he basically write based on the audience. They're not writing based on the audience, though. So there you go right there with that argument. If you're going to say oh, well, that's actually a good style of writing. But if they actually went by what the audience wanted and what would get it, and I'm not talking about the in-house audience, not talking about the smarks, not talking about the This Is Awesome crowd. I'm talking about what would get people on TV, that audience, to watch. What they think would be something stimulating and entertaining. This is just random stuff. And I wouldn't normally say this if this wasn't a trend for over a decade now. And that's the truth, because now all they do is randomize it. And then at the end of the day, we don't even get a story. Really, look what happened. Look what's happening with Randy Orton and Edge. Is Edge even there to tell his own story? No, Matt Hardy is, and Orton's apologizing. He's beating people up. The guy who actually took the first concerto is out longer than Matt Hardy, who took two. Okay, So do I really need to say more about inconsistencies and failing the talent and why the ratings are going down and why the show absolutely sucks? I don't think so. But I'd like to see more of Otis, and this storyline was interesting. It would have been fun. It's a Beauty and the Beast story. Yeah, they've had storylines like this. Yeah, it might be a little predictable that in the end they probably won't end up together and it won't be in Otis's favor. But, give us a bit more. Enough of this, oh, we got to let the people wanting more. No, it's not that. It's not about impatient fans, because I see that argument being made too. We see the smart crowd and the WWE Defender crowd at the same time, where I don't know, it's kind of split somewhere in the middle, where you've got some people talking about, oh, we need to, we need to be patient for storylines. There's no storyline to tell to be patient for, is what I'm saying. This is random. Better give us a good idea, give us your best effort this week, and then give us another good effort next week. If you're a good enough writer, you should be able to write at least 2 segments back to back. Don't give us some half-ass garbage one week, and then the next week it is it's not even half-assed. It's like quarter-assed, if you ask me. But let's move on. Lacey Evans is sitting down. And, Lacey Evans hasn't even been on the show. Is she injured? I don't know. They didn't say that. I think they just don't know what to do with her. They've got Naomi. They've got Carmella. They don't know what to do with Lacey. So they kind of just told her, hey, we'll sit down over here. You had your match at the Rumble. Momentum? Anything? No. So they sit her down with Renee Young. And this reminds me of her with the promo that she had. I think it was also with Renee Young on SmackDown a few months ago, where she's talking to Renee, and people on YouTube are like, wow, I really like Lacey now, and it's the most generic promo. Here it's the most generic promo. And, how awkward was she in this? She's playing this character, and it just looks stupid in 2020. This, post World War II, we get it, I get it. She's a former Marine, but she's not even playing up the Marine part. She's stuck wearing vintage clothing. She's dressed in something your grandma would wear, and this is super over. You know, for some reason. Oh, I really like her character. What is her character? She calls Renee Young nasty, like in a weird baby face sort of way. She's trying to be a heel. You know, like, I don't get it. She's supposed to be this upper class, like, you know, do well type of character that is more fitting of a heel. It's more of a classic Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick, the Blue Blood gimmick from back in 1996. She's trying to do that. And then what she's also trying to do is also be a baby face and inspirational and be a mother and be a Marine at the same time. Pick a damn character. Pick a character and stay with it. And then you got the goofball peanut gallery saying, oh, I love it. What a great promo. This wasn't half bad. No, this was bad. First of all, the way how she tried to, like, get her little, you know, mannerisms in there, you know, and all these little catchphrases or whatever you want to call them, nasty and all that, sounded really awkward. It did not fit well together. And Renee Young is just smiling away, looking like Natalya here. Seriously, like, here, I don't know what it is. Like, Renee Young, like, seemed like she was morphing into Natalya, like, in the middle of the interview. I don't know, but, like, the way how she had her hair, it was like, is that Natalya? I seriously thought, before I clicked the video on YouTube, I thought it was Natalya. Then people talked about how in the thumbnail they thought it was Natalya. And I really thought it was Natalya, but no, it was Renee Young. I don't know. Like, but whatever. This promo was not good. It wasn't stimulating or anything, or it wasn't great like a lot of people were saying. Like, you know, a lot of these people on YouTube, I notice, are like little WWE Tony the Tiger is always saying, it's great! It's more like it's terrible. Like, I mean, seriously, this is not good. What about this was good? What about the character? Like, what? Like, what character? To me, it was a weird mishmash of all the things that she is personally and the character she's trying to portray, which is supposed to be heelish, but she's also, like, a face at the same time. Like, wow, like, what? You know, should I really be this confused during a wrestling promo? No, I shouldn't. But somehow I am. Then we get this Symphony of Destruction match, and all I'm thinking about is the Megadeth song. Strowman and Elias defeat Cesaro and Nakamurphy. This is just some goofy type of, like, hardcore match, you know. We get the 24/7 title, you know, on Raw, but we don't get hardcore matches. So we're getting one here, kinda. And it was just really, like, lame. Like I feel like a power slam on a piano should mean more. But instead I'm just like, eh. And then you've got this old Looney Tunes bit where, you know, Strowman or Elias, like, you know, pulls the drum over Cesaro's head. And it, like, goes down to his feet. Just, like, you know, really funny, great 2020 humor here, guys. Like, are we seriously doing bits from Looney Tunes? Not to say that those are not classic bits, but keep it to the Looney Tunes. This is real life. This is actually, like, people acting this out. So, you know, to have them acting like cartoon characters when they're supposed to be tough guys, badasses fighting each other in the ring for supremacy, not a good idea. Anyway, you could clearly tell once again that they have no plans for either wrestler. You know, Elias, Strowman just won the Intercontinental title, and all he's doing now is focused on a tag team with Elias. Why did he win the IC title if he's going to be a tag wrestler? I'm not going to get too much into that. Who really even cares at this point? Baron Corbin cuts a promo, and okay. All right, let's talk about the promo first, and then I'll address JD, okay? First, the promo. Corbin tries. He tries his damnedest, but they always give him this material. It's either dog food, chihuahuas, or, everything that they've had this guy say over the past few months has been related to a dog. Okay, this time it wasn't. This time it was about, Roman Reigns' face being plastered all over trucks, all over posters, and he basically said he's going to beat him down so badly that he's going to be on those posters and on those trucks. And then he says, then the WWE universe is going to bow before me. It's like the most basic stuff. But it's like, they give him their talking points. What is really Corbin supposed to do? Corbin follows a few fan pages. JD gets on his YouTube and on his off-the-script show, and he talks all about how Corbin is a mark. This guy actually has the nerve to address somebody as a mark. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this guy, if he's going to be calling anybody a mark, he should be standing in the mirror talking to himself. Because and this weird thing that I don't really go on JD's page, but, I've got my friend on Instagram, Burying the Smarks, who posted this, and I'm watching this video, like, with probably the weirdest expression on my face, because he's talking about how, like, the pages that Corbin follows are like fan pages, and these people don't post anything about their personal lives. It's all about wrestling. Like, he never heard of a tribute page or a fan page. Like, there's Ninja Turtle pages, there's Walking Dead pages, there's Marvel comic pages, there's, video game pages. Like, okay, so, like, if you're going to run a wrestling page, you have to post about your personal life. Hey, guys, let me tell you a little bit about my prostate exam. Like, no, it's like, I'm pretty sure more people would rather hear about the wrestling than, your personal life and all this, because I don't know if we really want to know about that stuff from JD based on the way how he lives his life and, the way how he basically treats people. And he's bashing Corbin, calling him a mark. Calling Corbin a mark because, he wants to be nice and follow some pages and see what the fans are talking about. What is it the business of his? How is that newsworthy? Off the script. Ooh, wow, an edgy show here on YouTube where JD pretends to have insider info in his desperate attempt to try to work for AEW. Because, I didn't even know it, but, this guy does commentary for something. What's the promotion? Someone help me out here in the comments. He does, like, commentary for... it's not MLW, right? No, of course not. It's something else. I don't know what that promotion is called. Whatever. Let me know in the comments. But the thing is here is he's trying his damnedest to try to suck up to AEW, and he does a little criticism here and there. Oh, just so it gives the illusion that he's being, objective. But we all know that's a farce. Anyway, like, who is he to call Corbin a mark of all things? When if you look at, like, what Corbin has said in the past to guys like Meltzer and the rest of them, he's the furthest thing from a mark that you could possibly get. This guy doesn't give a damn about what any of these dirt sheets say about him. He's going to keep on making money, and he's going to keep laughing at all the goofball smarks along the way, and good for him. I feel sorry for people like JD, but then again, I don't, because I hope that one day Corbin embarrasses the guy. I really do, because the way how he talks about wrestlers, and he thinks he's some sort of authority. Like, here's the difference, if anyone wants to know. I come on here and I talk about the show. I let you know how I feel, but I don't really, like, care how you feel about it. Like, if you like the show, I've said it before, enjoy it. Go ahead, watch it, say it's the best thing ever if you want. Do I ever come on here and start tearing down wrestlers' personal lives? No, I say that Becky Lynch is cringy because that's her character. I never say like she's a horrible person or anything like that, but like here's JD talking about how Corbin is like a bad person for following the wrong pages on Instagram. What? Like, first of all, the comment barely even makes sense. If you don't post about your personal life and you follow those pages, like meaning the pages don't, talk about their personal life, whoever is like running those Instagram pages, like that makes it like a really less credible source. I'm just like, what? First of all, many of those are like not even really like news pages. They're whatever. Maybe there's some news pages. It doesn't even bear to be analyzed. All you need to know is that JD is being a goof, basically. And I'm doing this more because like I never even talked about people like when I talk about JD, but this just like when Bearing the Smarks posted that, I was like, this guy is just a goofball. And it needs to be talked about. And since Corbin is like here cutting a promo, and I know when JD does his show, he's probably gonna bash him and probably say something about that Instagram garbage. The Bellas are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. They're on Alexa Bliss's show, the Moment of Bliss, and people are losing their ever-loving minds, saying, "Oh my God, the Bellas are being inducted. This is horrible." It's like, okay, it's not that serious. First of all, it's an imaginary Hall of Fame. First of all, once again, it's not that serious. Number 3, it's not that serious. And number 4, who really cares? Like, guys, the Bellas are a big part of WWE. They've also added a lot of extra revenue to WWE. Not only are they responsible for Total Divas, but also Total Bellas. Also, when Nikki Bella was dating John Cena, it got him a lot of media attention from TMZ. Same thing when Daniel Bryan started dating Brie. It's just good business on their part, I suppose. Now, is it really going to get them any extra viewers? No. Is it going to really get them any extra attention at all? No. But, like, whatever. But now people are talking about, like, oh, you didn't induct Gail Kim. Like, did Gail Kim ever really do anything in WWE? Like, okay, they've inducted, like, NWA guys and AWA guys. I get it, but, like, I don't know. I mean, the Bellas just kind of seem more important. Just, like, in retrospect, when you kind of, like, look back on, like, all their careers, like, the Bellas just, they've done more stuff. They've had more exposure. To call them legends is probably a bit of a stretch. But then again, they called Alicia Fox a legend. Or, like, they put her on the poster of the legends. Remember when they did the, what was it, Smackdown 1000 or something like that? I don't remember. But regardless of the case, yeah, good for the Bellas. Congratulations to them, but it's not really a big deal. I don't really mind that much. And in fact, I kind of support it because I see how upset it's making people. And they're jumping up and down like a bunch of goofballs. It's like, they're just like being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's a joke. Like, they've taken Hulk Hogan like out of there. They put him back in. They put the left foot in. They put the left foot out. They did the hokey pokey. Like, who cares? To tell you the truth, like, really, I'll say it again, like, who really gives a damn about this? It is a joke. Scott Steiner had said it best. It is. It's a phony Hall of Fame. It doesn't matter. They only put the people in there, who are like, their friends. They do cheap things like, oh, you want China in the Hall of Fame, do you? Oh, yeah? Do you? You want her in? Okay, we're going to just induct her in some crappy, like, group induction. We're going to, like, induct her along with the rest of DX. When she's, like, accomplished so much on her own as well. Like the matches against Jericho, the moments with Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. Like, okay, to induct her, like with DX, is so cheap, so phony, especially after all the things Triple H said about her. All right, we could go on all day about that. Daniel Bryan defeats Heath Slater. Drew Gulak is there, at ringside, and like, what? Like, no one knows who this guy is. And, Bryan beats him. Like I said, they have nothing for Bryan, so they just came up with the most worthless filler I've ever seen. Now, is this going to be some type of Slater Gulak tag team? Is Gulak going to have a feud with Bryan? Like, he just wrestled The Fiend and gave The Fiend the run for his money. Are you going to seriously tell me that this is the best you've got? All right, Mandy Rose leaves with Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler shows up and, asks Mandy what she's doing. She says, I'm waiting for my ride. Ziggler says he could give her a ride. Otis comes out from behind, some structure. So he is there. Like, is he going to say anything? Is he going to, call out to Mandy? No, he's just going to, sit there and sulk, basically. Like, okay, great storytelling. A lot was accomplished there. Like, was anything furthered from last week? No. Like, he hurt his feelings again. Sheamus cuts a promo. He's going to be inside the Elimination Chamber. I really doubt he's going to win. It would be nice if they could, bring this guy back to his former glory, but I don't know. Shorty G and Apollo Crews are seen talking. Shorty G is kind of giving a pep talk to Apollo Crews about this, and Apollo Crews says that he doesn't need the pep talk. Please do not tell me that in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, when they're going to decide who faces the champion at WrestleMania, that they're going to seriously put Shorty G and Apollo Crews in there. Wouldn't that be funny if they put them in one chamber, as one person? Forget about I even mentioned that, because they would, if anyone randomly from WWE happens to be watching the video, they might, good idea. No. We've got Naomi defeating Carmella. Okay, Bayley was at ringside. She's not there at the end. I don't know where she went, or they didn't have her on camera. Okay, whatever. We kind of figured that this is what was going to happen, right? Then, in the last segment, Goldberg comes to the ring. And Bray Wyatt gets on the Titantron, and he shows all of the Funhouse friends. They all say a little something to Goldberg. Then Bray says that he has someone who wants to meet him and, meet Goldberg, and the Fiend is standing right behind him. Weird how they didn't turn out the lights. People just literally saw the Fiend climb in behind him, and Goldberg didn't notice. Goldberg spears him. Then he starts to get up, he sells it, but he gets up kind of quickly. Goldberg, readies himself for another spear, and then the lights cut out. They come back on, and the Fiend is gone, and that's the end of your show. That was it. Once again, more half-assing it. Okay, is there not more to the story there? Okay, you're going to give us a match, and that's all we're getting. You don't have anything more you want to show us? Wait, when is Super Showdown, by the way? Isn't it usually during the week? So is it next week? I guess it would have to be, right? Next week is the end of the month. That's the last week left of February. I suppose it is. So yeah, show is total garbage. What do you expect? And isn't it sad that we don't know? Okay, I get it. All right, let them make, a little bit of tension there. Goldberg and The Fiend, who's going to win? Okay, it's obviously going to be The Fiend, right? But, like, there's no one really on SmackDown that's, like, lined up or looks like they're in any position to challenge The Fiend. And The Fiend, since wrestling Daniel Bryan, hasn't really done anything. Like, the most that they could think to do is, like, okay, let's start, building, half-assed for a match against Goldberg. Like, shouldn't the match against Goldberg mean more? Shouldn't there be more to it? Like, I just feel like, like they're really not even trying here. Goldberg is split screen with The Fiend. He gets angry, he walks off. Hulk Hogan cuts a promo. And it's just like very, very lazy. Like half the stuff is not even taking place, like with the actual like guys like in the same room together. Not saying it has to take place in the ring, like it could take place somewhere else, but like it just feels so lame. Like I feel like if this was years ago and Goldberg was in the match, like even 2003 Goldberg, which is a very heavily criticized tenure for Goldberg in WWE. His first, full year in WWE was met with heavy criticism, right? They didn't use him right. They had him lose to Triple H when he really should have won. And the list goes on and on. But, they would have they treated those matches at least with some build. And every single week they'd at least show Goldberg and show the build and everything. And I don't know what it is. They don't want to pay Goldberg to be there. I couldn't even tell you. Who knows anymore? Because I'm saying, look on Raw, you got Edge. Edge just returned. Edge comes back and he's gone for a whole month. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post on my new videos. And guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.